So you're approaching the age of 62, and that really brings up one big question. Should I start Social Security now or should I wait? Well, the answer might be different for every person. We're going to dive into some of the things you need to consider before starting your benefit. Welcome in. This is Perfect Game Retirement. Glad to have you, Ben George, with Ryan Ledden at Black Oak Asset Management. And Ryan, the big question, Social Security, when do I start it? And today I want to talk about the age of 62. That's kind of the angle I want to take on this because I think a lot of people think about starting it as early as possible, and 62 is that age where you can start collecting the benefit.
Oh yeah, I mean, again, I've mentioned my dad on here before, and he's well past Social Security age of 62. But I mean, that's what a lot of people did when he claimed it. It's I've been paying into it. I want mine. There was not a whole lot of planning that went into it. I was not in the business at the time where he did claim Social Security, so a lot of factors involved. But yeah, 62 is that age where people's radar goes up, and there's some controversy over Social Security in the future and the health of it. So some people just think, hey, I'm 62, I want mine.
That's a good point, Ryan. I hadn't really thought about that, but I guess for the longest time you just you don't even really think about it. Just turn it on when it's ready, because longevity obviously wasn't as long as it is now, and the benefits were a little bit different, and people just kind of assume that. So now you're kind of changing your thought and your strategies about how to approach this, because people are living longer. Maybe you don't have as much saved, you don't have as much other income to rely on. So a lot to go into this. So let's talk about why people do then file at 62. That first kind of reason, you talk about it a little bit. Maybe it's because you just assume that's the way, but what are some of the most common reasons why people file at 62?
Yeah, I mean, again, I paid into it, so I want mine back, is kind of thing. But again, you're not saying don't claim it at 62, but you're signing yourself up for a reduction for the rest of your life, as far as what it could have been if you were to delay it. And I know there's controversy, again, over the health of it. So the people are worried about the longevity of Social Security. It will continue on. It won't go away, in my humble opinion. They will figure some things out. There'll be some modifications to it, probably for those younger generations like myself and like you, Ben. Maybe there's a different full retirement age. Maybe we have to pay more tax into it. A lot of different ways to kind of help fund the controversy of basically the fund, the transfer payment. Essentially, there's nothing in it. It's a transfer payment. People pay in, it goes right out the other door. So it's not sitting there collecting interest or anything. It's just a transfer payment. So, but I've had people go, oh, well, I'm going to go ahead and take it, and then I'm going to invest it myself. I'm like, okay. I mean, that's one strategy, but you do get those delayed credits. I mean, those are guaranteed by the federal government. They're getting these delayed credits. Obviously, investing, which I'm a true believer in, but there's no guarantees with investing, especially short term, even long term. But there's not as many guarantees built in like the Social Security does, especially if you wait till after full retirement age 67, you get an 8% increase each year. So that could be potentially a 24% increase from 67 to 70. So a lot of different factors involved when it comes to people filing at 62. They're ready to retire and they want their income now. So, that's always a possibility. But the biggest thing is there needs to be a plan in place to claim at 62. Again, I am not saying don't claim at 62. But there needs to be good substantial reasons other than just I felt like it or I paid into it, I want mine.
A lot of reasons to do it. And, you could have a legitimate reason to start that. Again, you want to have a plan for it. But on the other end of the spectrum, Ryan, there's the people that decide I'm going to wait until full retirement age. So why would you decide that? And what are the benefits for waiting?
So waiting until full retirement age, again, this could be a show in itself, just this one. But if you're still working and you're below the full retirement age, really take a hard look at not claiming Social Security, because there's the earnings test. And earnings test means between ages 62 before you get to full retirement age, which for most people now is age 67. So there's an earning test. So for 2026, it's 24,000. It's just under, I think it's $24,480. Again, I may be a little bit off on that, but if you make, so that is your first dollar amount that you can make, and the earnings test does not apply to Social Security. any dollar over that, you do pay a reduction. So for every $2 over that, it gets reduced by $1. So it's a 2-to-1 ratio. So you could make essentially a certain amount of money, depending on what your Social Security benefit is. It could go down to zero. Now, that's not a permanent thing, but that's while you're working. So if you're below full retirement age, which again, for most people is 67, you really should take a hard look at just not claiming it at all, because again, it could be reduced almost to zero. Again, it's not a permanent thing. You get that money back, but still, it's something you don't want to sign up for usually. So that earnings test, and again, but once you get to full retirement age 67, there is no earnings test anymore. You can make as much money as you want after you turn full retirement age, and there's no reduction in benefit for Social Security whatsoever. So that's something to think about as well. But then if you're married, you have spousal benefits, the legacy that you're going to leave behind, because when one person passes away in a marriage, you keep the higher of the two amounts. So that's a big deal, especially if you have one person who has a very large amount from a monthly benefit standpoint. That person may want to delay it as well. So again, a lot of puzzle pieces moving, a lot of moving parts. What's your longevity? Again, like I said, we're not guaranteed tomorrow, but you can look at family history. You can look at your own health. So a lot of things to think about on why others really, really wait until that FRA or full retirement age of 67.
Yeah, there's different reasons and a lot of puzzle pieces, Ryan points out, to figure that out, which is why you want to sit down with a financial advisor to help you understand the pros and cons to waiting versus going ahead and claiming now. Both strategies could be effective for you, but you want to find the one that helps you get the most out of that money you put in. And let's talk then, Ryan, for someone that is going to file at 62. Maybe whatever reason they end up settling on, they want to go ahead and file that money, but maybe they don't need the income right now. A lot of people could be in that situation. They want to start the benefit, but they don't actually need the income for expenses and that sort of thing. What can they do with that money then? What should you do if you're in that position?
Well, again, first, don't claim it without a plan. Again, reoccurring theme: plan. Have a reason. Don't just do it because of feelings or emotion, but have a plan with it. If you do want to claim it, you don't need the income, you could invest the difference. From a long-term perspective, maybe you would earn more in the market versus delaying it and get a higher amount from a monthly standpoint. So there is definite ways you can invest that money to potentially have a higher nest egg, if you will, if you did want to claim it early at 62. So, maybe even consider like one spouse claiming it early and then having the other one delay it or kind of kick the can down the road a little bit longer. So maybe one person has a benefit and they go ahead and claim it, and then the other one delays it. That way, that kind of plays into that legacy planning. So maybe the person with a higher income delays it, and that way that benefit continues to go up and up. But then the smaller benefit, hey, you're just going to go ahead and claim hers now or his now, and that way the higher benefit, whether he or she has a higher benefit, that can just continue on from a legacy standpoint when one person does pass away. So again, not a huge fan of claiming it early if you don't need it, but there are things you can do if you do claim it just because you want to. Sometimes I can't convince people otherwise, and that's okay. But I just want to make sure they know the pros and cons and the reasoning behind doing it. Because think about the COLA adjustments that they have each year, which are not guaranteed by the Social Security Administration. But if you have a lower amount, that COLA adjustment is just that compounding interest of the COLA is going to be a lot slower if you do claim it early.
Yeah, you don't want somebody just to claim it and just have the money coming in with no plan at all for it. So that's the situation you need to overcome if you are thinking about claiming at 62. So Ryan, take us into Black Oak Asset Management, the office there, and maybe you could think of someone that maybe came in wanting to claim at 62. Maybe you changed their mind, or maybe they wanted to wait later and you helped them decide that 62 was their best option. Kind of take us into how you go through that planning process to determine what is the age is most effective for you.
Yeah, so we go through the pros and cons of claiming at different ages. We have financial planning software that shows the data. We can run hypotheticals all day long. We can run hypotheticals at different ages. We can add a technique that says, hey, we delay it, in this plan, we claim it at this age, but in this plan, we change the technique and claim it 2 years later or 2 years earlier. And it changes the success rate. It does. And so a lot of times we just let the software speak for itself. Now I go through my reasoning, my opinions on these things, but again, a lot of times it may boil down. It's not the numbers or the success rate. It boils down to when you just feel like taking it, especially for a single filer. If it's just you and it's not a married couple, and if it's just you, that tends to be all right. Just when do you want to take it? So that's maybe a little bit more of a simple kind of analysis. But we go through what are your income needs, what are your work plans, again, health. Long-term goals. I mean, there's so many different things because this can be a decision that's a six-figure decision, a difference between one amount and another. So, yeah, you mentioned it earlier in the show, Ben. Like this thing was built to last for a couple of years, and now it's like 30 plus years for some people. This was not built for this, and we've made modifications over time. We've changed the full retirement age twice. I really do think they're going to change it again, Ben. I think it's probably going to be closer to 70 for us as far as the full retirement age. They've done it a few times, and it just keeps kicking the can down the road. So we need Congress and some politicians to just draw a line in the sand and try to come up with a solution instead of just kicking it down the road. But as of we know now, that's how we plan. I have some clients that come in and go, I don't even want to factor in Social Security. Like, I get what you're saying. I'm going to put this number into it's irresponsible on my part as an advisor if I don't include it. Mm-hmm. Now, if there's changes, if there's reductions, we will make those changes when we need to. Now, are we going to put 100% of our retirement plan based off of Social Security? No, that's not what we're going to do. There's other things that we're planning on. But if you do want to say, you know what, show me a plan that doesn't have Social Security in it, we can do that. I can turn it off. I'm going to put it in, but then I can turn it off just to see the difference between the two. I love it when people are like, I want to save like I'm not getting it. Okay, that's a different frame. That's a different response other than, oh, it's not going to be there, I'm not going to get it. I disagree. But if we want to save like it's not going to be there, and then if you get a $3,000 check per month, that's just an added bonus. Okay, great. But that's what we do. We factor in. I mean, we get paid zero from Social Security as far as as advisor work, but it makes a huge difference on their plan and to be more successful. So this is a huge decision, and it needs to have serious analysis where it's not just, hey, I'm going to take it because I paid into it.
So if you're getting close to that date, that age is 62, remember that right decision on when to claim is going to depend on a number of factors: income needs, work plans, health, long-term goals. All these different things weigh into the process, and hopefully you have a better understanding of how that works from watching this video. But before you file, again, make sure you're choosing that right path. You have a plan that supports your retirement, not just that birthday on the calendar, right? So get in touch with Ryan, speakwithryan.com. Get on the calendar now to begin talking about Social Security, whatever planning questions you have. That is the best place to start. But thanks for watching this episode of Perfect Game Retirement. We'll be back again soon. Ryan, talk to you again in a week.
All right.